Practice section 1. Are you ready? Because here we go. First things first, do I know all the notes and the musical markings? This is the question we ask ourselves. So look through this first section and say, do I know what all of this means? We talked about the 3/8 time signature. We count 1 and 2 and 3 and for this. We also have this pickup bar right here. There's a measure with only 2 notes in it. That'll be 3 and, because it's just the end of some measure that's just been going on in the ether somewhere, and we're just picking it up right there. It's called a pickup measure. We have that. The rest of them will count 1 and 2 and 3 and. We'll talk about rhythm in just a second. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at all the rest of the black ink on here. So do I know what this is? It's a sharp. That means that that's a D sharp, 4th fret on the 2nd string. This little sign right here is a D natural, meaning go back to the 3rd fret. On the B string right there. I might have said D string before, but this one is the 4th fret, this one is the 3rd fret. That is what to know. This is a dotted 8th note. That means it gets 1.5 eighth notes or 3/16. But the rhythm for this entire tune is just steady as a rock throughout the whole thing. So even though there are multiple parts going on, there's always a 16th note happening on every beat. So that makes it easy, but it also makes it easy to be lazy and not distinguish your voices from each other, from the melody, from the accompaniment. So we have to watch out for that as well. The little numbers beside the notes are left-hand fingerings, 1, 2, 3, 4. The letters above up here are P, I, M, A, thumb, index, middle, annular, ring finger. And so that's what those are, pocomoto with motion. And I think that that is pretty good for do I know all the notes and musical markings. So without further ado, let's jump into clapping the rhythm of this thing. And we just talked about the rhythm being steady, but we're going to do it anyway and count out loud. And we're also going to do it just for the melody as well. So to here, starting, we're going to count 3 and... Why do we count to 3? Because we're in 3/8. And so looking through here, I'm just going to tap here as we do this. Here we go. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and... Why did we stop there? Well, because we have 4 notes here, we have 2 notes here, and these next notes are going to be the repeat of this up here. So the next section will be basically starting in the same place that this one is. We'll actually start at a note earlier so they can overlap. But that's what's going on. So when you're clapping this and you're counting, what you can do is these accompaniment notes, we talked about this, right, before, we can count those and clap them softer. And that just right from this very step right here builds in our knowledge of what's what. And this is a really nice high level way to clap and count rhythms, because it looks otherwise it'd just be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and it'd just be this steady thing. But instead we can actually kind of build into our ears what's happening musically. And so again, I'm just going to start right here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. So in this way, we can really delineate our parts. This is also the melody. The da 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 da. That's clearly melody as well. Now that we know the notes, we know all the musical markings, we know the rhythm and the parts, let's look at the right hand. And so one of the things to really look at with the right hand is that we want this to be a beautiful, rich sound as much as possible. So mind your technique, yes? Don't just start hacking into it and picking at the strings. You know, give yourself some nice space into here, and then also kick your hand just a little bit this way, because we're on these top strings. It can very easily be tinny. Instead, kind of rock your hand down like you're, doing a karate chop on the strings just a little bit, and then you can have a much richer tone. And really watching your technique, everything that we talk about in the woodshed. If you're doing that, closing the fingers into the hand, not plucking up and pulling on the strings like this, but closing them. And this is the place to really focus on this. This is just I and M alternation for these first 8 notes and beyond, actually. So then to start with, we have, still counting out loud, looking at the strings that we're going to play. We have 3 and think it actually stopped just right here at the beginning. I put this as one big section, but it's kind of a long section. So it might be easier when first looking at the section to split it up into smaller sections. So this is what we're going to do with the right hand because it gets to be a lot to remember otherwise for the right hand. So again, that's 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And just for dynamic's sake, get louder into this. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And from there, let's continue on now. We'll be from here. We have 1 and 2 and 3. So we have M, I, M, B, I, M. Now notice here, we have a PIM arpeggio pattern. And if you do the primary arpeggio patterns, then this is a great chance to use your PIM arpeggio pattern. That means that you basically plant both of these at the same time. So from the beginning of that measure, we have 1 and 2, P, I, and M both plant, I, M, boom. And this is also a PIM. This is really interesting, actually. This is also a PIM right here. But then we're starting with the A up top with the thumb as well. So we still think of it as a PIM. So, but we're also playing the A. So you can think of it as kind of a combination of an like an AIM arpeggio where you put both of those down. Well, that's kind of actually, yeah, forget that. But the thumb and the A finger play, and then the I and M prep. I plays, M plays, P preps on the 4th string, and then here we have our PIM again. PIM. And then we have boom. And then here again, same exact thing in the right hand. We're right here at the beginning of this measure right here. This I, M, P. So then one of the things that you can do to really make yourself learn this as quickly as possible, you quick prep. And so this right hand technique of quick prepping is you get your finger to the string very quickly and then wait. And ideally without too much excess tension of really getting in there. But so you get there fast and wait, but your preparation, you're on the string, touching the string. This way you're not swiping through the air, right? So we have M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, boom. And so with each one, you're always on the next string. So that you're always just really sticky, as if you're on the side of a cliff and you always have to have a hand on that wall so that you one moves and the other one is right there to catch it. You're not like just letting go of everything. You're just constantly on the next, so that each note has 2 parts. It has the actual playing of the note and the preparing of the next note all in one motion, like this. And that is one of the quicker ways to get that right hand. Now also with the right hand, we have our volume control. And so what we can do then, I'm just going to start on this big second bar, the second full bar. This is this point right here. We can practice this. Loud, soft, soft, loud, 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 soft, soft, loud, 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 soft, soft. That sort of thing, to where you can get your balance worked in there on a very black and white. It's either loud or it's soft. There's not this beautiful subtle shading going on and all these lovely grays in between. It is black and white and black and white between melody, not melody, melody, not melody. And that would just program it into your mind what that is right from every single step that we're doing. And of course, you want to get this to where you can play it through with really good timing throughout. So get it absolutely steady where you don't have to pause or slow down anywhere. This is worth the time you spend. In the next video, we will get to the left hand and putting the hands together. I look forward to seeing you there.